Hey babes, so I'm here with my right hand man here. Right, Ben? Yeah. Life is tough. So today I want to talk to you guys about my weight loss journey. I know that a lot of you guys want me to talk about it, so I think today's the day. It's just gonna be a super casual chit chat, everything I've gone through, everything I've learned, how I've kind of started and why I've kind of stuck with everything. I kind of want to do this video to kind of help you guys figure stuff out too. I know it's a very difficult thing to start. Weight loss in general is like a really massive kind of topic where people are just very confused about a lot of things, and there's just like so many myths out there, and I kind of just want to like squash them today. So I want you guys to grab like your tea, your coffee, your water, whatever you guys want to drink, and we're just gonna have a really casual chit chat. I need like a really hard pillow on my back. I don't know what my problem is. My glasses are already dirty. So basically I started my journey, I would say the very end of January. That's where I really kind of took it seriously. I kind of mentioned a little bit in our sister Q&A that Amy kind of started her journey. She was heavier than I was at the time, and I think she just really just had enough. So for her, that was her rock bottom. Like that's when she was like, okay, that's it, I have to do something. And then after kind of seeing her and what she's kind of learned, I was like, you know what, I'm not at the best that I can be, so I think I need to start doing something too. I had gained a lot of weight. I had done so many diets from before. And it's just so funny looking back at how I used to do my diets. I don't even like to call this a diet. I really, really hate to call this a diet. I like to call it a lifestyle change before I would have called it a diet. But it's just so funny looking back, like how I used to do, you know, a lifestyle change, and how I would lose weight before is completely different from how I would lose weight now. And I'm so glad after all the stuff that I've learned and stuff, and just kind of understanding and getting the knowledge of, you know, what things really are, instead of all these things that the media is trying to tell you that are completely not true, but have been literally embedded into our minds, especially women. Not to say that it has not affected men at all, but women in general, we have a ton of pressure on us to look a certain way. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's not really fair, you know what I mean? Because the media tells you, look skinny. Then the media tells you it's okay to be bigger. And then the media tells you, look like this, look like that. At the end of the day, what I think the very first step is to ask yourself, who do I want to be? You know what I mean? Who is it that I want to look like physically? What do I want to fix about myself internally? And I think that that's the beginning thing, because I think just going freely into something, you don't really know what your goal is in the end. I also wouldn't say, don't tell yourself, okay, I want to be 130 pounds. I didn't give myself a number. In my mind, I knew the range I kind of wanted to be in. But I think that when you get stuck on the number, I think you really just, you put so much pressure on yourself, and then week by week, if you are not that number and you're not on track on this track that you've made up in your mind, that can actually make it go a lot worse, because now you're like, oh, I didn't lose the 1.5 pounds I wanted to lose this week. That's it. I'm going to go extra harder on myself. So now what have you done? You've put extra pressure on yourself that didn't even need to be there in the beginning. So I would recommend, it doesn't matter how much you weigh. I don't care if you weigh 300 pounds, 400 pounds, 200 pounds, 150, 170. Try not to put so much pressure on yourself, because at the end of the day, nobody's perfect. At the end of the day, everybody's growing each and every single day. And this is your own journey, you know what I mean? Nobody can tell you, no, you need to be 150 pounds. I do not hold myself to any number whatsoever. I started my weight, it's very, I wish that I got on that scale and I knew exactly how much I weighed, but I can definitely guess I was in the mid 60s, the 160s. I think, I would say I was like a good 165. And that's not, like, seeing that number in the beginning, like when I first started, I was like, okay, like if you think you're okay, you're not. Like you clearly are not okay. Because number one, I was eating just very freely. I will say, I always have the mentality in my mind of how much I'm eating. I'm very good at knowing approximately how many calories I'm consuming. But at the time, I didn't know I'm supposed to have 1,500 calories or 1,600 calories or 1,700. I just knew, okay, this meal has this much, this meal has this much, and this meal has this much. So in this day, I've consumed this much. I think I'm good. So I had a very good idea of what I was eating, but I wasn't losing weight. I was staying the exact same. I managed to maintain that weight. So I think that in my mind, I was doing great. I was doing amazing and I was fine. But the thing with me is I'm confident about the way I look to a certain extent, but I'm comfortable the way I look no matter the weight I am. Like even at 165, you guys saw I was still posting outfit pictures. I still thought I looked beautiful, fine. You know what I mean? Like I was still very confident and still thought that I looked completely fine. But the reality is that a lot of things I was doing was very unhealthy. A lot of things that I was consuming. I didn't eat a ton of processed foods, but I'm a lot more cautious now about what is going into my body, as before I wasn't. You know what I mean? Like in my mind, as long as I had you once in a while, it was okay. Like if I had McDonald's once in a while, that was okay. That's not the case anymore. So I definitely made a lot of changes in my eating for sure, because I didn't agree with the kind of lifestyle I was living. And I would do maybe Zumba once a week, you know, or I would work out once a week at home. I wouldn't be going to the gym. I'd be working out at home. And the thing with working out at home is it's fine, but I find that I think if you have to do it for your lifestyle, fine. But I think when you really want something, you can always make time for it. And I think with working at home, we kind of take advantage of it. Like we say to ourselves, you know, let's say you're coming home from work and you're like, oh, I'm gonna work out when I get home. But it's very hard because you get home, you settle down, and you don't really want to work out right after. So you don't end up doing it. So with the gym, it's kind of your discipline. It's kind of like, I need to go to the gym, tonight's the gym, and that's it. Let's get her done and let's do this. And I find that it's very easy to fall off the train when you start your workouts at home, because you just get comfortable. And it's very easy that one day, all it takes is that one day for you to be like, you know what, I don't feel like it. And then the next day you don't feel like it. And the next day you don't feel like it. Long story short, I thought I was okay. I was confident the way I was, don't get me wrong. But in reality, it was not okay for me to be the way I was. My fat percentage was very high. It was in the high 40s. Now my body fat is just at 30%. So I would say I lost at least 15% body fat. Right now, I'm literally at like 138. That's where it's kind of like stopping at right now. So 165 to 138 since the end of January. So at the end of the day, you kind of have to stop. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, I've made it so far, but I want more of myself. And that's good. It's good to want more of yourself, but you do have to stop. Like listening to me say that, like 165 to 138, and I thought that I was okay at 165, and now I'm this better person. Like I'm this better image of myself. I just realized like you have to take a moment to be like, you made it. You have made an awesome change in your life. You have done this for yourself, you know, and you kind of, again, like I'm the worst. I will put so much pressure on myself, and I'll say to Amy so many times, it's not working. Like, you know what I mean? Like I think I've hit a plateau and it's just not working. And she's like, okay, let's stop. Like this is where Amy comes in. This is what I was mentioning in my sister tag. Amy comes in where she's the logical one, you know. I'm the worry wart, and I always, you know, I just get bejumbled in all the worriness, and then after I'm like, okay, where's the logical queen? So she comes in and she's like, let's look at the facts though. You know, like, do you take pictures? Like I always take pictures every time I weigh myself. I weigh myself every single Friday. And I take pictures of what the scale says. I take a picture of the weight that I'm at. I take a picture of the fat percentage, and I take a picture of how my water is, because my scale tells me all those three things. I will link my scale below in the description box for you guys. I love it. It tells me everything. And I also take a picture of my muscle percentage. So I take those every single week, and she's like, let's look at these pictures. So what were you 3 weeks ago? What are you now? What were you 2 weeks ago? What are you now? And she's like, you're fine. Like, you're losing it. Like, you're okay. You know, you're losing the weight, you're losing the fat, you're okay, you know? So I think it's good to also have, you know, somewhat of a support system to kind of be like, no, like, you're doing fine. If you can do it for yourself, that's great. And I can do it for myself. It's just sometimes I worry, and it's okay if you worry, but what you have to do, like, now I know, you just have to go on your phone, you just have to look back at like your progress and see that you physically are doing fine, like, you're okay, you know? So I kind of worry about that sometimes, because I'm a perfectionist and I expect so much of myself all the time. And I'm always like, why doesn't the scale go down 2 pounds? And it's like, it's just not realistic though, Steph. Like, you have to be realistic, you know, with weight loss, because weight loss is very scientific, and weight loss is based on facts and on science and what you're putting in your body. So you can't base it on anything else but that. Back to when I started. So basically, when we both kind of started, we both were doing a ton of research, watching a ton of documentaries. I can link a couple below for you guys. We were just really shocked at just so many, like, I don't know, so many facts just like hit us in the face that we're like, holy crap, like, what? Like, I thought this was true and it's not true. Like, oh my God, that's a myth. I can't believe that. Like, we've been following this forever, you know? So we watched a couple documentaries, all these things that we thought were okay, because on the box it tells you they're okay for people who want to lose weight. You have to look at ingredients. That's definitely one thing that we learned. Ingredients. If you don't know what the ingredient is, look it up. Or these documentaries will definitely teach you a lot about ingredients. Look at the nutrition facts. Make sure you're getting your protein. Make sure you're getting some of your fiber if it's possible. Make sure your carbs are okay. Your fats are okay. Calories. Oh my God, calories. That's another thing I have to talk about. This video is going to be so long, guys. I'm so sorry. So yeah, just after watching documentaries, basically the basics that we learned is watch out for what you're buying. A lot of these packaged foods are just so horrible for you. Like, so they're just filled with sugar, and they're filled with all these like just chemicals, and you don't need that in your body. Like, your body does not recognize what the hell those things are, so you definitely don't need that. You need to start including a lot of like veggies and fruits. I suck so bad with eating fruits. Like, I'm still horrible with eating fruits. I always have to try to find very creative ways, or anytime there's like some fruit on the table, like if someone physically puts it on the table, sometimes at breakfast, there's like this little bowl with like fruit in it. And the other day I was just like, eat that stuff, like just eat it. Like, it's right there. It's good for you. Eat the damn bowl of fruit. So I just started eating bits of it, you know, but I do definitely need to be more into that. Amy's amazing with that. Like, she's great at having her fruit. I'm a veggie girl. You don't have to ask me to eat my veggies, because I love my veggies. I love my greens. So I don't know why I just did that accent. But yeah, I love my salads. I love my broccoli. I love having my spinach. Like, I will stick spinach into anything. So my greens are not a problem, but greens are very important for you. Very good antioxidants. A lot of vitamin A in there, a lot of vitamin K, a lot of potassium, just a lot of nutrients and vitamins that, I mean, I understand why people don't want to have veggies and fruits. Amy never used to even eat any veggies whatsoever. And now that she's learned, like, I would show her salads and be like, I'm telling you, like, this salad is so good. Like, and she'd be like, that is disgusting. Like, I'm not eating that. Now she loves having her Greek salads. Like, loves. You kind of, if you're the type of person like her where you're very close-minded about food in general, you have to open up your palate. Like, you just have to, because making your life healthier and discovering these foods that are so healthy that you've been missing out on, that can actually help your body inside. Just imagine, like, at the end of the day, think about what you've eaten. Do you feel good about yourself? Do you feel like you have done yourself something good for your body? Because outside here, you can only do so much, but inside, that is the most important part about who you are. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, it tells you how long you're gonna last, tells you how healthy you are. So we talked a little bit about my starting weight that I was at, which was around 165. We talked about that. Right now I'm around like 138. So at this point, again, I'm not trying to focus on the number of what I want to be. for me, in my opinion, I still have a lot of fat to lose. I don't want to go too low. I think I want to be in like maybe the 22% range. I'll see what I look like at that point. But again, I'm not holding myself to any numbers. I don't like to do that. But one thing I do want to talk to you guys about is the scale. The scale. This is such a big subject. You can turn it into your best friend or you can turn it into your enemy. So the reason why I say that is because I always said since the beginning, since the very, very beginning, I learned this. You can't always focus on that number that it gives you. When you step on that scale and you look at that number, try not to let it affect you too much. I'll tell you why. Your body fluctuates, especially with me. I don't know, my body just holds a lot of salt, water. I get bloated a lot, so it fluctuates. I mean, the bloating is kind of going down now because I'm doing a couple of things to kind of avoid that, and it's definitely been helping. But with the scale, the problem with that specific number is that it can be because of so many different things. If you've worked out, let's say you weigh yourself on a Friday morning, which you should always weigh yourself when you don't have any food in you. Try not to eat late that night because you don't want the food's gonna kind of take part in that number on the scale, definitely. I shouldn't even say kind of, it definitely will. Try not to drink too much water late that night. Try to cut off your water at a certain time or else you will be getting up in the middle of the night to go pee like a ton of times. I try to cut myself around 8, 9, but sometimes I'm not done getting my water, so I just keep drinking. So try not to drink too much water the night before you weigh yourself. Try not to eat too late that night or anything too heavy, anything with a lot of sodium. I always make that mistake. And because that's going to affect the number that you get. So this is exactly why I don't like to focus too much on the number. I like to focus on the fat percentage. Although the number will affect your fat percentage, but it's a lot better, I find, in my opinion. I'm looking at my fat percentage more than what I'm weighing. The other thing is weight loss is a journey where it's going to be a roller coaster. Don't think that your journey is going to be like lose 2 pounds, lose 2 pounds, lose 2 pounds. Like, don't think it's just going to be this straight journey, because it's not. That's just not the way it works. There's a lot of factors. I mean, your body's going through a massive change when you do this type of, this type of lifestyle change. So with the scale, that's just what I want to share with you guys. I personally do not like to stick to the number too much. So that's what I mean, that the scale can be your enemy, which is when you look at that number and you're like, oh my God, like, why isn't it going down? I'm not losing any weight. I'm going to put so much pressure on myself. That's when you can make it your enemy. Or you can look at it and be like, but I went down 0.1, fat percentage. You know what I mean? Like, that's okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as long as you were seeing some sort of progress and you've done all the right things, like not eating too late that night before, like try to do all those things before you're going to weigh yourself, because at the end of the day, you can't really be mad at the scale if you've eaten at 10 o'clock at night and went to bed at 11 and you ate this like really big meal and had a ton of sodium in it and you drank like a whole liter of water before you went to bed. You can't really be mad at the number on the scale, you know what I mean? So try to practice those things, and I think it'll help you guys with the scale. The way I make the scale my best friend is just kind of looking at it and being like, okay, I've made some progress. That's all that matters. And if it's not the progress I wanted, I look at it next week. I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe it wasn't what I needed to be this week. Let's see why, And sometimes I know. I'll be like, hey, well, you know what? This week's stuff, you have a lot of sodium, so you need to like cut it down next week on that. Or this time you did a couple cheats, so you know what? You need to take it easy next week. You know what I mean? And then it shows that it went back down. So you either sometimes know, or sometimes we have no idea why our body is doing a certain thing. So what I'm saying is try to use the scale definitely as a guide for you, but try not to physically take it as this thing where you look at it and if it's not that number that you wanted and you're gonna get upset. Like, just try not to take it so seriously. I always like to say, look in the mirror. Are you seeing, like, month to month? You can't see it every single week. It's just not, you're not gonna see that. But month to month, when you look in the mirror, do you see change? Do you see, and that's another thing we're gonna talk about is, you're not gonna look in the mirror and be like, oh, I have abs this month, so next month I hope that these abs are gonna be more chiseled. Like, that's not what I'm saying. Just look in the mirror every month and say, do I see a change in myself? What has changed? Because after a month of working out like 3 to 5 times a week, Bentley, really? Bentley wants to come in, guys. Are you comfortable? Are you comfortable, mommy? Yeah. Oh gosh. Okay, so the main thing about losing weight is the number one thing I had to first do was figure out my TDEE. So that is the number with your activity. Ben, I'm not petting you. So you need to figure out your TDEE, which is very important. That's going to tell you how many calories you need to eat in a day, which is extremely important. The most important thing about losing weight is how many calories you consume. If you are consuming more calories into your body than you are wasting in energy, so basically working off, you are not going to lose weight. That's just a fact. It's a fact. It's a scientific fact about losing weight. That's just what it is. He's just being a diva right now. So I'm gonna link below where you guys go to calculate it and what the one that I use to calculate my TDE. So basically that is going to give you how many calories you should be eating in a day based on the activity, how much you were working out, how much activity you were doing. Without that guide, without that number of how many calories you need to be consuming to lose weight a week, honestly, I'm being serious with you guys, the whole weight loss journey, completely pointless. If you are not going to be counting your calories, and if you are not going to be saying to yourself, okay, this is how much I need to eat in order to lose weight, there's no point. Like, there's just no point. Because you physically cannot lose weight until you know what that number is and you're eating that amount. You also don't want to be eating too little and too high either. So that's why it's very important to use that as a guide to know how much you're supposed to be eating. A lot of people, like when I first was trying to lose weight, I did the whole calorie thing, but I didn't know about TDE and I didn't know what I knew now. So I would be eating like 1,150 calories. Like what? What does that even mean? Like what? Does that even make any sense? And when you find out your TDE and you find out the real number, that's when I was like, oh my God, like it's really working. High five for that. That's right. Can I get another high five? Oh, thanks. If you guys are starting up this journey or if you guys are doing this journey with us, but you're wondering why you're not losing weight and you haven't done this, it's definitely going to be a very serious key factor as to why nothing's happening. With my eating, it's definitely, I love to use a kitchen scale because I measure everything that I eat so that I know how many calories I'm eating. The thing I used to use in the beginning when I was on this weight loss journey was my MyFitnessPal. It lets you enter your weight, it lets you enter all the meals that you are doing. You can scan each and every food that you're eating. If you guys buy something and want to scan the barcode, it's kind of cool. You guys can add your own recipes on there. And it just kind of helps you control in the beginning. If you guys are not familiar with how many calories are in a meal, I think it's a very good idea to use that as a guide. I don't use it anymore. I used to use it for the first couple months when I started, but I've kind of winged off of it because I kind of want to maintain a good knowledge of what I'm eating without having that as kind of an aid or a help. So I don't use my app anymore and I'm still on track, so it's actually working for me. So I think it's just kind of a good practice for when I am not going to be on a deficit anymore and I'm going to be back on maintenance. I think it's just a good practice to have. Weightlifting. Oh God, weightlifting. Weightlifting, so funny. A lot of people, there's so many myths. Like for example, if you weightlift and you're a girl, that you are going to get big. I believed this. A lot of you guys probably believed it. It's not true. It's just not true. We don't have it in our DNA as women to do that. That's something that I definitely had to get over, because when you do weightlifting, in my opinion, weightlifting is a lot better for losing fat. That's just what I believe. I really don't do much cardio. The only cardio I really do is I might do some sprints on the treadmill, but I won't be like, well, I mean, sometimes if I feel like doing like a fast walk or a jog on the treadmill, I will, but it's very rare. Definitely didn't get to where I am right now by doing cardio. Like, that is for sure. That I can tell you guys, like, honestly, for sure, that did not happen. So, I do a lot of HIIT, which some people consider a form of cardio, but it's a lot more intense than cardio is. Cardio basically, you know, includes your running, your jogging, your walking on the treadmill, your elliptical, stuff like that. HIIT has like a lot of resistance too. There's a lot of toning involved. You lose a lot more fat. HIIT opposed to just cardio where you're like literally just like boring, right? Yeah. Personally, I don't want to be on a treadmill. If you guys like doing cardio, I'm not saying by any means to take it out of, you know, your routine. Keep doing it if you love it. But I know for a fact, I used to do, like before in my old diets or my old, I can't call those lifestyles, that was a joke. Before, when I was losing weight, I would do strictly cardio. Zumba, elliptical. I would maybe do some, I've always loved like doing like ab workouts, and I've always loved doing like push-ups and stuff like that. I always liked the challenging workouts, but I always thought it would make me bulky. That's why I stopped. So I was like strictly Zumba, on the elliptical, on, you know, the treadmill, walking and stuff like that. I always hated running. I still hate running until now. And I'll show you guys a picture of what I used to look like when I did a ton of cardio. I literally went like this. I lost a lot of my hips. I lost like any sort of curvature that I had. You know, I wasn't building a butt. I kind of look like a flat board. I lost the weight because cardio will make you lose the weight, but at the end of the day, I was very flabby. Like, nothing was tight, nothing at all, you know. And that's why you give up, because when you see how far you've come, like, I lost a lot of weight before. I lost like a good 30 something pounds before when I used to do this old diet. And I look at myself and I see the finished product, like after when you're done, and I would be like, okay, so like this is what I'm left with, like after everything I've done, after all the starving that I've starved myself, like this is what it's come to. I much rather prefer weightlifting now. If you are starting with weightlifting, try not to get too overwhelmed. Try to do, I've actually posted a video where I show you guys a ton of different weightlifting exercises that I do at the gym. And Amy has a few if you guys want to watch them too. But I would say if you are just starting, go slow. Don't think that you have to put on like these 45-pound weights and squat, because that's not how we started. You have to start very slow and you have to work your way up with weightlifting. But weightlifting has definitely completely changed my life. Like it is the main reason, I would say, you know, besides the whole calorie thing, because without that I wouldn't be able to lose weight. But the weightlifting has definitely been like a very important part of this journey. It's made me more confident. It's made me more open to new things at the gym. It's helped me grow. It's helped me become stronger. I'm toned now. Like, it's just, there's just so many benefits to it that you cannot not like weightlifting. And it gives you a challenge, and when you like beat that challenge, you just feel so good about yourself. That's how weightlifting makes me feel. And what I like to do to kind of switch it up and to kind of like avoid any plateaus or anything is I kind of like to, you kind of want to play with your metabolism. So your metabolism, basically what we learned is it does not want you to lose weight. Your metabolism is designed to literally save you from starvation, save you from literally dying. That is what your metabolism does. So when you are on a calorie deficit is what it's actually called, when you're eating, you know, under what you're supposed to be losing weight, your metabolism goes into like the shock, like, oh my God, she's starving, when you're really not starving. So it's gonna do anything in its power to literally save you because it thinks that you're starving, but you're not. So what you kind of want to do, because your metabolism is designed like that, which I found it so crazy. Like, I had no idea about that until I watched a documentary. And actually, other than documentaries, we learned a lot from Michael Matthews, which Amy talks about a lot. She's the one who found him. She listened to his audiobook. And it is about, you know, weightlifting for women and weight loss for women too. And he was like one of us, like trying to lose weight and trying to build muscle and, you know, be really, you know, fit and everything, and it just wasn't working out for him. So it was basically trial and error for him. So he was literally trying different stuff and see what was working. And he finally learned a ton of stuff from reading himself about different other people that were doing the exact same thing. And he's just taught us a lot. So I will also link that below as well. So basically what I try to do, like I was saying for a plateau, is I like to switch things up. So if, like, let's say for 4 weeks straight, I'm doing like low reps, so I'm doing really heavy, but I'm doing only 4 reps of them because I can't do any more than that, which is fine. I like to do 4 to 6 reps. But what I'm doing now is I'll do a heavy weight, but less than what I would do if I was doing a 4 to 6, and I'll like pump it, so I'll pump it faster. And that's just to kind of like give your metabolism a kick, because what happens with your metabolism is, that's another thing that's very kind of unfortunate, is you're doing this journey and everything's going great, you're doing weightlifting, you're losing the weight, you're doing amazing. And then all of a sudden, normally around like 6 months, you're like, why have I stopped? Like, I'm doing everything right, why have I stopped? That's called a plateau. It's like the worst enemy of somebody who's trying to lose weight or trying to build muscle. Either way, it just happens. There's different things you can do to avoid that. I've been using a method where, again, I just change up my routine, because your body, believe it or not, gets very accustomed to what you're doing. You know what I mean? It's literally saying, oh yeah, she does these squats like every day, you know. And then I read this quote, and honestly, it's unbelievable. It's incredibly simple, but incredibly true. If you do not give your body a reason to change, it won't. And it's just like anything in life, you know? If you want to see change, you have to do something different, because clearly you're not seeing anything by what you're doing right now. That's basically what you need to do with your metabolism to kind of avoid plateaus. You need to change things up. You need to freak your body out. Your metabolism loves to be comfortable, loves to be safe, it likes to know that you're okay, and it wants you to continue on this routine that you're doing forever, because that's what it just wants you to do. You know, if you haven't done sprints in like 4 weeks, then include sprints inside of your routine, you know what I mean? And then next month switch it up. You don't want to keep your routine the same every single time. I know we get comfortable with our routines, but I get very bored at the gym. Like, sometimes I'll be like, I've been doing this routine for 6 weeks, and then I find that my progress is just not the same. So, and then I'll switch it up and do something different. And because I'm working a different muscle, or I'm working, you know, a body part that I haven't been working on, then the body just goes, oh, like she's doing something different. What your body wants you to do, your body wants you to work on something different so that it can grow, but your metabolism is the culprit. It wants to stay the exact same, and it wants to stay safe so that you don't lose any more weight, but that's not what we want. So I eat 1,500 calories in a day. I'm so funny because I will purposely try to preserve calories. I like to be a little bit under, because I still think that 1,500 is a little bit on the higher side. If I wanted to lose faster, I would eat less. Some days, give or take, I'll eat like 1,300 calories, 1,400, or I'll really be under, but then the next day I'll eat what I was under the first day. So it's not that big of a deal. That allows me to lose about 1 pound a week, but again, that fluctuates. How many times I go to the gym? I go about 3 to 4 times to the gym, and then I'll work out for about an hour. I used to divide my gym time and say, okay, I'm gonna do weightlifting for like 30, 40 minutes, and then I'll go do 15, 20 minutes of HIIT workout. But now I'm kind of shifting things a little bit, where I'll do a lot of weightlifting and I won't even do some HIIT. I'm just doing that because I feel like I need to give my body a little bit more of a push right now where I am in my progress. And I feel like weightlifting at the end of the day is just going to burn the most out of all of them. Sprints, I'm trying to include also some sprints in there too, because I also want to get like my heart healthy too. I've kind of stopped doing Zumba a lot. I love doing Zumba, but I've kind of stopped doing it. It's just a lot of cardio, and there's not really much of anything else that you're really doing to your body. You're kind of toning. It depends how intense the class is. I love doing Zumba, but I love weightlifting more. So I mean, at the end of the day, we're gonna go with which one's gonna give us the best results. The biggest thing I get from you guys is all the time. You guys always say, how do you stay motivated? I mean, from January, the end of January till now, how do I still love this journey that I'm on. I can tell you guys, I love the journey that I'm on. I love it because at the end of the day, I can go to bed and be like, you are making a better change for yourself. A lot of people that I know have gotten really ill, and it scares you because at the end of the day, you are what you eat. Like, you just are. You are what you eat. It just really made me realize, if I don't take care of myself now as I'm 27, what am I going to be like at 37, 47, 57? You know what I mean? So I think that that is what really keeps me going, is knowing that I'm making a good, smart, healthy change for myself. My biggest advice to you guys is I would not wait for something to make you go to the gym. Nothing is going to be like, knock, knock, knock. Okay, you got to go to the gym, Kelly. Like, nobody's going to do that. You know what I mean? You have to do it for yourself. I had my rock bottom, Amy had her rock bottom, and I guess you can say that that was our motivation. I think that you need to reach a time and point where you have just had enough for yourself. You know what I mean? Nobody can make you do it. Nobody or nothing can make you do it, because at the end of the day, if someone else pushes you and it wasn't you that physically did that, then it's not going to last. With motivation, it's very hard because people are looking. I read this thing on Instagram where the guy, like, he's a fitness guy, and he posted something about motivation. He's like, where do I find motivation? Because everybody probably keeps asking him too, like, where do you find motivation? But motivation is not something you can find. Motivation is not something that's going to come to you. It's just, you are literally gonna have enough one day and you're gonna say to yourself, I need to make a change for myself. You know what I mean? Like, it just is what it is. It's kind of like when you want to redo your wardrobe and you say to yourself, I really need to, like, up my wardrobe and I really need to do something different. Do you look for motivation to do that? Or do you physically, like, go online and go shop for stuff? Or you physically go to the mall, or you go on Instagram and you look for inspiration? That is exactly what you need to do when it comes to weight loss. Like, that's exactly what needs to happen. When I hit my rock bottom, I never thought once to myself, but where's my motivation? No, that was my motivation. Like, I literally was like, this is it. Like, something has to be done. I have to watch more documentaries. I have to learn more about food. You will have that fire in you. You will have that want to learn more. I think if you are still waiting for motivation, you may not be ready yet, to be very honest with you, because you won't need motivation. When you really want something, just like anything else in life, you will find time to do it. So I think when it comes to that, I think everybody just has their time when they want to start making a change for themselves. Another thing I get a ton of messages about, and it's so funny because it's such a myth, and I believed it too, so I can't really fault you guys for asking me this, but a lot of you guys, like, you'll see a picture of me and you're like, oh, your stomach looks so good, and you look like your abs are coming through and you look so great, you know? So people will say, what can I do, Steph, to lose weight on my arms and my back and my stomach? That's my problem area. The truth is, you can do, let's say your problem area is your tummy. You can do every single tummy exercise in the world. And guess what? The fat's still not gonna come off of your tummy. That's just not how weight loss works. For example, I always tell you guys this because it's a realistic example. For example, me and Amy, when we started, we really, like, now we kind of mix it up. Like, she knows what she likes and then I know the exercises I like to do. So we're kind of different as to what we like. But when we first started, you know, you know which exercises are the best and you're really into it. So we did the exact same exercises. Guys, we look completely different. Like, we are completely different. For me, I've had a ton of progress in my stomach. I think I would say that that was like the second place I lost. I lost a lot on my love handles. I had massive love handles and I really wanted them to go away, and it was definitely my first place that I went away. But that doesn't happen to everybody. Let's say the first place I wanted to lose is my stomach. Well, it didn't come off of my stomach the first time. Other place I wanted to lose the most, and this is the last place it's coming off of, is my legs. My legs have always been huge. I knew from day one, I said to Amy, these things ain't going nowhere for a long time. And she's like, it'll go down, you know, like, they'll go down. And just now, like, I would say a couple months, just now, they started going down. And how many leg exercises have I been doing, guys? I show you guys on Snapchat all the time. I do a ton of squats. I do a ton of free weights with leg exercises. I do a ton of HIIT with leg exercises. The legs are the last place it came off. That is a fact. You can't choose where the fat comes off. You just can't. I'm being honest with you guys. It's a myth. It's an absolute myth when people say do this for perfect butt, do this to lose weight on your stomach, do this for that. Like it just doesn't work like that. Another important factor I should talk about is my water. Water has been so important for me. I used to drink no water whatsoever. Just yesterday I had like 4.2 liters. I'm so excited. I love those days when I get like 4 liters of water. It just feels so good. Water is extremely important for you guys. It's just so good for your body. There's just like so many things that it does for your body. It's also really good to help and aid in weight loss. It doesn't make you lose weight, but it definitely helps when you are on a weight loss journey. I drink 3 liters of water a day, generally on a general basis, and when I go to the gym, I tend to drink about 4.2, just because I drink a whole like 1.5 liters just at the gym, just because you're constantly out of breath and you're constantly trying to like, you know, you're constantly thirsty. So I drink a lot at the gym. So water has definitely helped me. It's super important for taking pictures. I take pictures very often of my body because it's very important to look back and be like, look at my body now and look what it used to be before. So I have like pictures of my stomach from before and pictures of my stomach after. So I'll show you guys here a before of my stomach and an after of my stomach. And it's literally, I'm not joking you, until you physically make a collage, put them together and look at them and be like, whoa. I don't measure myself often at all. I know what my measurements were when I first started, and I want to measure myself when I'm done. My number one advice to you guys is just constantly remind yourself of your progress. If you're doing everything right to lose weight, you have to kind of applaud yourself for any progress that you've made. If it's 0.5 pound, if it's 1 pound, you have to just remind yourself, I'm on a journey, I'm growing, and I'm making progress. So for those of you who are going to be on this journey or haven't started or want to start, or if you are on this journey with us, I'm very proud of you guys because, oh God, I don't want to get emotional. I'm so corny. I think it's very important to improve yourself, especially with your health, because there's just so many illnesses out here today. And especially if you guys know people who are ill, you want to make a change for yourself and you just want to be healthier for yourself. So if you guys are on this journey, I'm super proud of any of the progress that you guys have made. And you guys can always share your progress photos with me. I love seeing them. It's so cool to see how you guys are on the same thing. And you guys are also looking amazing. A lot of you have shared your photos with me and a lot of you guys are looking amazing. And I just love to see it because it's so cool to see, you know, that you inspire some people to make a good change. I'm so happy that a lot of you say that we've inspired you to make a change, and I think that that's just awesome, because at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. You know what I mean? To help people and tell people what we've learned and everything. So I'm so happy for each and every one of you who have made any progress. I don't care if you've lost 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 50 pounds. Like, honestly, it's amazing. And I think that you guys are making a really good decision for yourselves. It's not about not looking the way you're supposed to look, because everybody's going to look different. Everybody has their own goal. Some women want to look muscular. Other women want to look more curvy. Some women want to have just a flat stomach. Other women want to have abs. You know what I mean? So everybody has their own vision of what their body wants to look like. My vision is completely different from what Amy wants to look like. So I think just stay true to yourself. And again, just remind yourself that you are doing an amazing job and you are doing something amazing for yourself. And when you take care of yourself, then you're able to take care of other people too. And you're able to share knowledge and you're able to spread all this health all over the place. And it just feels so good. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and this chit chat. And if you guys have any questions, you guys can always message me or leave a comment below. So thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I'll see you in my next video. Fresca.